Hello, and welcome to Hunter Fuel, a supernatural rewatch podcast for adults who enjoy their show with a chaser. I'm Liz.
And I'm Lynn.
We are so excited to be back for season one, episode 19, Provenance. Wizard Dave has been battling the forces of darkness, and he has vanquished the demons back to the cold cyber hell from whence they came. We are very excited to be back. We model responsible drunkenness here. All participants are way over 21. No one is pregnant. No one will be driving, handling weapons, operating heavy machinery, or spending obscene amounts of money on freaky ass paintings, even if it's for charity. If you're playing along with us, those are the rules. If you decide not to follow them and you do something stupid, don't blame us. Lynn, what are you drinking this evening?
I went for margarita.
Margarita is an excellent choice. Is that my margarita recipe?
Do I make anything else?
Well, not if you're smart, because I make a damn fine margarita.
Yes, you do. So, no, of course it's your margarita recipe.
Well, hang on to that recipe. There's an episode coming up several seasons from now. So, just hang on to that recipe for the next, I don't know, 10 or 12 years until we get there. And and you will both have a margarita on that day. But the featured cocktail for this episode is an artist special. It is 1 ounce of whiskey, 1 ounce of sherry, 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, 1/2 ounce of red currant syrup. Shake all that up with some ice and strain and serve. So Lynn, we messed up last episode. You had four in a row and eight total, and I only had two in a row and five total. So you lost by the least, and we got so distracted we didn't even celebrate your near victory. So congratulations on
Thank
losing
you.
by the least.
Especially since
Uh,
usually you knock my pants off. So,
And it's not I mean it's all random. It's
yeah, I
all
know.
random, but yeah. Well, the bingo card gods do seem to like me.
Yes, they.
Um, well, let's see what happens this time. So, Wizard Dave, can you bring up our supernatural game cards for us, please? Um, I gotta say, I'm not terribly confident with this one.
I'm not either.
All
I,
right,
I, I, I,
well,
de- I definitely am gonna get a couple. I'm
okay,
a
well,
100% gonna get a couple. I don't think I'm going to drink all that I have prepared tonight.
all right. Well, we're going to find out. So, as always, the first one is on the
On the
house.
house.
So, cheers.
Cheers. Oh,
Oh,
that
that
is
is
yummy.
nice.
That is
I
really
like
good.
that one a lot. Uh, Now I hope I have more. Okay. So, Lynn, let me ask you, do you have a summoning ritual on your card? Because we,
No.
of course, so we owe you a summoning ritual, and apparently we're going to continue to owe you a summoning ritual. Um, so, if you're playing along with us, there is a link to generate a card of your very own in the link tree. So, with that, let's get this show
This
on
show.
the road.
Yep. All right. So, unlike our normal ones, we do not have a cold open. I mean, we have
Yeah. Well,
like
this is a cold
there's
open,
no
but there's
cold
no.
open, so we just go right
This is
on
a
into
cold
the
open.
story. So
This
we
is a
have
cold
this.
open, but there is no previously on segment, so we're diving right into the cold open.
Yes.
Um,
So, and we see this god awful, freaky ass painting of this family, and
oh,
this,
this painting is awful.
yes,
Oh
yes, it
God.
is. with this couple who has truly had a couple, and that is what got them to buy said painting because we see them. They are definitely planning on having a good evening upstairs,
Yeah, they're
unfortunately.
celebrating their hideous painting purchase.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I love it. He says that I love the line where he goes, "Well, there's a reason why auctions have an open bar."
right.
So, and we notice here that the painting has now woken up, which,
Painting is moving.
yeah, yeah, and he's noticing something, but clearly he's not going to look at his painting to see if it's moving because what sane individual is going to do that?
No, that would be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so the wife is in a very pretty negligee and holding a candle while the presuming husband, I'm assuming they are married, is setting the alarm, and you presume it is him heading upstairs, but
Oh, here's the interesting thing that we've got this POV shot of someone coming up the stairs, and there's this really kind of strange noise that's accompanying it. It's this kind of weird, like, drag and a thud noise as the POV is moving up the stairs. So yeah, I think we're supposed to presume it's the husband, but
now
it's
and
got
then
this
you see
weird,
this guy walking through the hallway, and that's
right.
clearly a man.
Yes, so I think that's the husband. But
I
he walks
think it is
past.
because the husband's
Right.
there.
Well, okay, so here's this is you're absolutely right. This is found in a way that I think is intended to mislead us. So we've got the POV coming up the stairs, but then it cuts back to the husband who's still downstairs in front of the painting, right? Because he walks past the painting, and that the razor blade that we saw was in the painting is no longer in the painting. So we know that he's in front of that. And so now we see the husband coming up the stairs.
Yep.
I'm hitting play, and but we just saw a shadow walking into the
To
wife's,
the
well, into their bedroom.
correct,
So it's
correct.
okay. So if the shadow's in the bedroom and the husband's coming up the stairs,
Who's in the
what is
bedroom?
happening? Who's in the
Yes.
bedroom, right? So the whole time the wife has been shouting, if you don't hurry up, I'm gonna start without you.
Yep.
And the husband gets into the bedroom. He starts to get into bed and he puts his hand down in a giant wet spot. And my first thought was, oh, I guess she really did start with her.
Tell me. But nope.
But no.
Anne has been murdered.
Oh boy, this is brutal.
Yep. And now he is about to have a very bad night also.
Yes. Yes. So bad,
So,
bad day for the new painting owners.
and now we are in a bar. And of course, Dean is hitting on somebody
He
because
is.
because it's Dean.
Uh, She's lovely. She's lovely. Can't blame a guy for trying.
Oh
But okay, so let's check our cards here and see if either one of us has
no.
Dean. I do. I have Dean checks out or hits on a woman. So that is one for me.
Yay!
I'm gonna This might be a mistake. I'm gonna make this one a smidge larger because I don't think I'm gonna get very many. And this is good. Did you have one?
Nope.
No. Okay, just me. So while we're paused, the song that's playing in the bar here is called Nighttime by Steve Carlson. So Steve and Jensen would later go on to form the band Radio Company, releasing their first album in 2019. So Steve is a longtime friend of Jensen's. So would we want to call this a meta moment? Does it matter? Do either one of us have one?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
And
just
sure, why
look.
not? I mean, I mean, it genuinely could be considered one. I mean, and because I mean we've done because I mean it is tied to the show. It is. I mean, I think that's actually a genuine one. I don't even think that's a stretch.
I I would probably consider it cheating, but I'm okay with cheating.
Now, well, I was gonna say we could get into a whole debate. Which I'm not interested
Yeah,
in doing.
we can move it along.
Yeah. So I'm considering it one, and I don't consider it cheating. So
Okay, well, you carry on.
I'm having one. Yum yum
So,
yum.
so before we move on, the only other thing I want to point out here is, so Dean, we're going to find out in a moment that Dean is not being entirely truthful with this young lady
That's
about who he
that,
is. And go ahead.
no. I was just giggling because that's oh so unusual with Dean.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, Dean is not being entirely truthful, and I bring it up because I think it ties into something we're going to see a little later. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, hitting play.
So yeah. So I love this line that we're gonna. I love the line in a moment that we're gonna see from Sam, but I'm gonna give it a minute to roll.
Mine is not playing. Hang on.
No, neither is mine. That's why I was like,
There it goes.
okay, there it goes. There it goes.
Technical issues.
So we see Sam here, who's extremely hard at work doing like looking for their next job, and definitely spots something and is trying to get Dean's attention.
I know.
And
They're in a crowded
he's like,
bar.
yeah, I was gonna say it's like get your ass over here, dude.
They're in a crowded bar, and Sam's by himself reading a newspaper.
So I
Our boy is struggling to have some fun here.
Yeah. And of course, Dean's like, we need to take a little bit of a side trip here. And Sam goes, okay, so what are we today? And he's like, we're LA producers who are looking for special skills. And man, do they, I bet, have some special skills. So we're not that far off.
No, no, he's certainly. Oh, he's about to drink this beer. Damn it,
Yeah,
drink the beer.
come
Drink
on.
your fucking beer. There it
Drink,
is.
drink, drink. Yes.
There we go. All right, so we've paused it. Let's see if either of us have
I
Dean
do.
eats or drinks. All right, good. Go for you. Hang on. Checking. I don't believe I have it. I'm taking another quick look here.
Cheers.
No, no, I am confident I do not have it. So good for you. All right, so hitting play. There it goes.
Mm-hmm.
If it,
So,
um,
so he starts talking about the murders in the newspaper, and Dean is not convinced. He's like, yeah, it's a murder, big deal. And Sam goes, Dad disagrees and look and points out that all the timetables match up to things in Dad's journal.
mhm.
And he's like, okay, maybe this is actually worth checking out, but we can't do that till tomorrow morning, right? Right. Good. Boom.
Ladies.
Right back to that bar. And of course, he goes right with the story of I've been checking with the producers and all is looking good. It's like, oh dear Lord. So now
This
we
is
have
a
a
fun
very
little moment
hungover
here.
team. And Sam who hits the horn and scares the shit out of him. Oh,
And is
that was
loving every second of it.
well, hell, he deserved that.
That's a little naughty, though. I mean, just look at Dean when he starts thinking about how he spent his evening. So
Oh.
yeah, apparently Dean had a wonderful evening, but now he's a little sleep deprived. And
Oh my.
they
Oh,
realized that all of the things, all right, I'm pausing this here,
yeah.
on this shot of, so while Dean was snoozing, Sam
Yes.
went in and the murdered family, all of their things are gone. So
Yes.
we cut to
An
this
auction
outside
house.
this art auction house, correct? And I love this pan across. It's
Yeah.
all these fancy cars. It's Rolls Royces and Ferraris. The Rolls Royce has a license plate that reads "The Crip," which is a reference to Eric Kripke, the producer. And so I'm hitting play. It's
Yeah.
continuing to pan across all these fancy, shiny new
Many
cars, and it
cars.
gets to the Impala. Is all like dusty and road weary. Went inside, and the boys are every bit as out of place in their hunting clothes
As the
the
Impala
car
is.
as the Impala is in the parking lot. I just think it's a great shot and a great parallel between, the boys in their car and this environment.
And leave it to Dean to find the appetizers right away.
Mm,
And of course, he mistakes the owner for a waiter and asks for a drink, which gets awkward very, very quickly.
I know. Poor
And
Sam, he's trying to present them as art dealers, and they're not blending.
no, 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 they are not. But Dean
I
is
love
like,
the where
we.
he's like,
I love that. He's smelling the champagne glass. That cracked me up. And they're like, we are on the guest list, dude. Keep looking. So they're wandering through and see the god awful painting, and
so hideous.
and here comes the daughter
Yeah, this
who
is Taylor Cole. She is lovely, and she has made a ton of Hallmark movies. The other thing, so she's from Texas, and as well as Sam and Dean, or yeah, not Sam and Dean, they're from Kansas, as Jared and Jensen. So they apparently had quite a lot of fun on set, and there's a lot of the gag reel of just them cracking up.
so so, so she's like, so are you enjoying all those mini quiches? Which I love the sarcasm in her. She steals like every scene that she is in this episode. I absolutely love her.
But you know what? Compared to, like if we go back to Wendigo, like compared to how the female characters were written, earlier in the first season, she's much more fully fleshed out than we saw originally. So I do like her. I like that she doesn't take any of the boys' crap.
No,
Um, I think, yeah,
no.
she's a good character.
Mm-hmm. And and so dad has figured out that they are not on the guest list and has thrown the boys out. And she turns to her father and goes, well, that was rude. And she has very quickly figured out that Sam actually does know something about art thanks to a comment she makes, and he corrects her. But but they already, he goes, but you knew that, you just wanted to see if I did. And she pretty much fesses up to testing him. So once they have left the art gallery, they are now at this very interesting hotel room.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, we're going to pause this here because, first of all, take in this motel room. I mean,
this
this I
is
think is one of my two favorite motel rooms. Early on, there's another one I think we won't see until next season, but holy crap, this one is snazzy. And they walk in and the boys talk at the same time. They both
yeah.
stop and look around and they go, "Huh."
Mhm.
So that was not in the script. That was director Phil Secretia. That was a note from him to like come in and just pause and take in the room. So let us check our bingo cards. So we need quirky motel room and a boys talk at the same time.
Yeah,
Um,
which let's see
I do
here.
not appear to have either. I'm double checking because it makes me very sad.
Uh,
No, nope, none for me.
nope.
All right, well, that blows. All right, so
Yep. Nope. Nope. Nope.
hit, hitting play.
So, and then I love that they keep having this conversation about the painting, and now I'm probably gonna mispronounce it, but Dean keeps calling it the provinces and not the. And of course, I'm gonna mispronounce it, but
Provenance. Like, so
the
he keeps
Providence.
calling it Providences.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he's trying to get Sam to ask Sarah for the provenances. Yeah, which they're Sam just explains, but it's the origin of the painting. It talks about any piece of art, the provenance is like where it came from. And it's something that's particularly important in the art and artifact world to prove that it, like as an example, art that was stolen by the Nazis during World War II, that you have to document that you own that painting legitimately, otherwise it needs to be returned to the family that it was taken from, or like artifacts purchased on the black market. So provenances in the art world are extremely important.
Yeah. Yeah. So fortunately for well, fortunately or unfortunately for Sam, his love of art is going to come very much in handy. And Dean does convince him to take Sarah out, which he reluctantly does, as it takes him a little while to get out the "How would you like to go out to dinner?" which she comments on.
Yeah,
And when they're trying to figure out the wine list, he's like, "Hey Romeo, how about a beer?" And he's like, "Okay, now a girl after my own heart."
you know what? And there's something, the scene is one of the reasons why I pointed out at the beginning that Dean was, being a little deceptive about who he was with the young ladies at the bar. That, we can see, Sarah asking asking Sam questions, and he's being evasive. And so I think one of the things this scene shows us is that Sam hasn't been dating. One, because he's still mourning for Jess, which is something that
Mhm.
comes up a lot in this scene where Sarah's talking about her mother having passed away. But also, she's asking him these questions about himself and he can't answer her.
No,
So I think this is one of the places where we see the difference between the brothers, that he doesn't want to be like Dean and just lie to women to get into their pants. That he wants to be able to be truthful with his partner and he can't. I think it's an interesting contrast.
yeah,
Um, The
yeah.
other thing I'll mention, so we're back in the motel room here, and the very first shot is of Dean sharpening his knife. And this is also something we're going to see a lot during the run of the show, that Dean does not sit quietly. I'm going to pause this a second because I know I'm talking quite a bit, and there are things you want to say, Lynn. But Dean does not. He's always doing something. He's sharpening knives, he's cleaning the weapons, he's working on the car. The Dean does not like sit quietly. That's just not his nature.
Yeah, I just think it was interesting how they worked the lighting in this scene. That you once again see that lighting with Dean's face being half in the dark, which I mean I realize it's a darker room, but they don't they don't always do it. I feel like unless I feel like it's only done on special occasions, maybe is the wrong way to phrase it, but
I
they
mean,
only
some
do
show
that
this
split.
dirt. Go ahead.
Yeah. Nah, they only do that split lighting at certain times. So whenever they do it, I really take notice of it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think we should always pay attention to the lighting because again, Serge Ladisier is just a master. I know I sing his praises like every other episode. But absolutely, it's something that's used, I think, very effectively in the show. That it's not it's not I'm saying this because it's the only thing that's coming to mind right now, but it's not a soap opera where just everybody's got a big light on them all the time.
Yeah.
That they use the lighting, I think, very effectively. Um, so we pick back up in the motel room here, and Sam is saying that Sarah has given him the provenances. And of course, Dean's got to make a crack like she just gave them to you. You didn't have to do, any sexual favors for her.
Yep. And Sam's like, nope,
He
I
said
did
special
not.
favors, but yeah, no, Dean, there are other ways. There are other ways to get people to help you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Some good old fashioned just honesty and talk good. Do wonders.
So, all right, so we've hit play.
Yeah. So, and they're now comparing the dates on the owners of the painting to the murders, and they realize that everything does add up, match up
Yeah,
perfectly. Like with every new owner, somebody, someone gets killed.
horribly. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, so now it's like okay, now
it's like
so now they're like okay, time to destroy the painting. So now we
now the
see the
painting is
boys.
toast.
Yep, now we see the boys hop in the fence. And fortunately, they have finally figured out how to disarm an alarm so that the cops don't immediately show up.
Right, and they're wearing
So,
gloves, which makes me happy. They're not leaving their
mm-hmm,
prints everywhere. And
yep,
I'm hitting pause because
because we,
Dean just picked a lock.
yes, absolutely.
So let's take a
So,
look here. I don't recall seeing one of these on my card. I'm gonna double check here.
I don't
Uh,
think I have
nope,
one. I
I
don't,
do not have a lock pick, but you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm
yep,
having one anyway. Can't stop me. Ah,
yep, grown ass woman.
darn tootin'.
Alrighty. So, yeah, yep, no.
I love this overhead shot here. I think this is really great of the boys going. I'm
Excuse
trying to
me.
hit play and nothing is happening. There it goes.
So,
This
yeah,
just this overhead shot of the two of them going through the art auction house with their flashlights. I think that's a really good looking shot.
mm-hmm, absolutely. So, and they're looking and they have spotted it. So now they have taken off like a bat out of hell toward this thing.
Yeah,
And
and they're
of
not
course,
messing around. They just hack it right out of the frame.
nope, I love it. He's holding the flashlight in his teeth, even though his brother's standing right there with one. Rip it right out, and boom. They're not concerned about hiding the frame,
Nope,
nothing.
nope, they just want
And
it gone.
now I'm surprised here they don't salt it. Like I was a little surprised by that, but
Yeah,
regardless,
well, but it's not remains.
true.
So, and keeping in mind this is first season, so they're still trying to figure all this shit out at this point. But I don't
But
know, maybe they should have salted it.
yeah, because it came right back. So
There it is.
regard. So yeah. So needless to say,
I love
That
this
didn't
bit
work.
here.
And now Dean is wandering around their hotel room going, ah, crap. I lost my wallet, with my
Oh
fake ID, my
no.
prints all over it and everything. We've got to go back and and find it before somebody else does. So they're wandering around looking for his quote unquote lost wallet. And what do you know? There we see Sarah, and she's wondering what the guys are doing there, and it's like, oh yeah, we're leaving town, we just came to say goodbye, but oh, by the and yeah, but no, we're sticking around for a bit, and oh, here, Sam, here's the $20 that I owe you.
Yeah.
And Sam realizes he's been set up.
Yeah, this is Dean has conned him. Like
Yeah.
this is a con to get Sam and Sarah back together. And he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh look, I need to go be somewhere else. Bye bye." Takes off.
And he's like, ah, crap, this isn't just the least bit awkward. Again, just all the little innuendos with the facial expressions that I know I've commented on 10,000 times.
Yeah, well, it's gonna
And
be a long show.
and
It's so
and then
not smooth.
I was like, and
I
then he
like,
spots the painting and panics. I love that. It's like, we're leaving. Oh my God. Suddenly, no, we're not.
not smooth. Not smooth
Yeah.
at all.
No, that was not just slightly suspicious.
Well,
So, yes.
I guess we're not leaving after all.
So, yeah. So it was, you're not selling that painting right now. Okay, you cannot sell it. There, you absolutely cannot sell it. I've got to go. I'll call you later, but don't sell the darn painting. It was like, wow, he was about as subtle as a train wreck in this scene.
I thought for sure he was going to back into something
Yep.
when he was backing up there, and he didn't. I'm like, man, I thought for sure he was going to knock something over on his way out.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it was, and they're like, okay, wait a minute. Oh, and we have a lore.
We
Um,
do. We have a lure, so we're going to pause it. We're going to
yep.
pause it. There it goes.
So yeah,
I
so
don't
then there,
recall seeing a lure, but I'm going to look.
I do not have one.
Oh, man, these cards suck.
Yeah, but you know what? Fuck it. I gotta
I
mix my drink up
agree.
though. But yeah, so they are being like, okay, so we've cut it out, we've burned it, that didn't work. Um, Next idea, and it's like, yeah, so they are doing a wee bit of brainstorming here.
They are. So they are on their way. All right, so we're hitting play.
Like,
They're on their way to try to figure out, okay, well, burning the painting didn't work. Let's see if we can't figure out what happened to the people, the first people who owned it, the merchants. I love that Dean is looking at a book about vintage firearms here, and I
yeah,
think that's fun for him.
yeah, and then I love this how the it's a magazine about the Titanic, but it's got an article that says that the father killed them with a barber's straight edge because he felt that the wife was going to leave the children because she was sneaking around.
Yeah, and they make
Yeah.
a point of saying like, okay, wife, two sons, adopted daughter.
So
Um,
yeah, and that adoptive daughter part is going to become very key.
yeah, I love this guy that they're talking to. He's
He
just
correct.
having a blast doing all this research. He's so cute.
And you can see as soon as he mentions that they were all cremated, you can see on both their faces it's like, oh shit.
Crap.
Yeah. So yeah, so they're looking now at the original painting, and you suddenly, if you look at the what, I don't know if you noticed the look on
Mhm.
Sam's face, but he was suddenly like, "Wait a second here." because he remembers that the father's head is turned in the painting they saw, and that he's looking straight out in in the original. So he suddenly has realized that the painting is changing.
Yeah, they're going to come back to this later. This bothers me here. So they've resold the painting and it's
Yes.
being boxed up and it's sideways. So like the this end up thing is pointed to the side. Um, so that annoys me. But yeah, they're like, okay, if everybody's been cremated, what do we do? Um, sorry, there's
I, I
a little bit
I
joke
love
about
this. They mentioned the Da Vinci Code,
Da Vinci Code.
and Dean goes, "Yeah, I'm still waiting for the movie."
And oh, he's gonna be in for a treat because the movie's great.
Yeah.
The book is great. The movie is also great with Tom
So,
Hanks.
and we have a dude.
We have a dude and we have I'm gonna
I
pause it.
We're about to have a heartfelt bro moment.
We are. So while we're paused, we will look for both.
So yeah, so
Um
I have both
and
the dude and a heartfelt bro moment.
oh, good for you. I'm firmly, oh no, I do. I have a heartfelt bromance. I do not have a dude, so
So
join you for one. Cheers.
I was gonna say I'm gonna do this a wee bit bigger than a little one, but not huge.
Yeah, because we're not getting very many.
Yeah.
Um, and I do, okay, so we're hitting play. I love
Mm-hmm.
this conversation the boys have.
Yeah.
Where, Sam is getting so frustrated. Dean keeps trying to pimp him out. And
Yeah.
I just
I was
like
like,
you can see Dean genuinely cares about his brother. Like he's not just being a like, hey, get some, like he's worried about Sam. And I think that that really comes through here.
but I do love how the sarcasm comes out first of, come on, you'd be less cranky.
Yeah.
But he does then finally, and you can see the tears welling up in his eyes. He'd be like, Jessica wouldn't want this for you. And you can see him thinking, he's like, and it's like,
I
no,
love
I
Jared's performance here. I think like
mm-hmm,
he does some great stuff where like you can see him kind of fondly remember Jessica.
mm-hmm,
And then like, yeah, she would have wanted me to be happy, but that's not what this is about. So yeah, I think he does some great stuff there.
mm-hmm, absolutely. So he's like, yeah, I think it's time to call Sarah again because they need to see the painting.
Right.
And so he calls Sarah, only to find out that Daddy Dearest sold it.
For a very persuasive offer though, because why would we let something like money somebody's death come between us and a big sale.
But I love this. You can see like he pops up and suddenly Dean is like, oh shit, this can't be good with the way he just popped
Yeah.
up, and he just like sits straight
Which,
up.
okay, that's good core strength there, Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Ackles. He just sits up like that's a guy who does a lot of sit-ups.
Mm-hmm. So
There's a
now
shot coming up here. Go ahead. There's a shot I want to point out is coming up, but you go ahead.
so now we
Too
see
late. Here it
Ethel.
is. I
Oh,
love this shot here, the razor
yeah,
blade
oh,
in
I
her
love, yeah.
glasses.
Oh yeah, of the razor
Fantastic
blade.
shot.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we hear that like dragging noise just before she looks up and screams.
So now it's funny. I'm gonna have to rewatch this one for what will be the fourth time because I don't ever hear the dragging noise when I watch this.
Yeah, I didn't catch it until I'd seen it a couple of times too. And I'm like, "Oh, that the sound design seriously on these episodes are like everybody who worked on these shows was just top of their game. It's really cool."
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Oh,
So
this
yeah,
is a
so
great.
oh yeah, no, I love it. I don't know why, but for some reason that shot reminds me of like something you would have seen in Downton Abbey. I don't know
Hmm.
why, but it just
Well, she's
does.
got a lot of expensive shit. So yeah, I see where you're coming from. That you would not have seen in Downton Abbey.
No, no, that you definitely would not have. And you see that Daddy has woken up and moves as they're like at painting. And so now they have so Sarah, they're in the hotel room. Sarah has shown up, and now they have to try to get Sarah to realize that she was not imagining things by seeing the painting move.
Yeah, so I mean, she's lied to the police. She told
Yeah.
them Sam and Dean were not there, that it was
No.
her by herself. And yeah, now they've got to convince her that it isn't a person killing these people. It's not a who, it's a what.
Yeah.
Um, and honestly, I think her reaction is very normal. They move through it quickly because they only have 42 minutes for storytelling, but I mean, their story that ghosts are real and are murdering people who own the painting, and it's a ridiculous story. No sane person would believe them.
Yeah. And I love it. It's like, you're joking. No, you're not joking. Like you can just see
She says
the look
not
on
the
her.
guys I go out with. I've been there, sister. I've been there. Hang on, it gets better.
And they start naming all the families. And she's like, "All right, well then you better show me the truth." And it's like, and Sam's like, "This can get dangerous. You need to go home." And she's like, "Fuck that, no. Absolutely not. My dad sold to that painting. She was a friend. I may be scared as hell, but I'm not running." And then Dean says my favorite line of the entire fucking show, which is marry that girl.
Marry that girl.
Because she does not run from the scrap. I
No,
love that
no,
scene.
she's scrappy. I like her.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah. So they are now back in, no, they are back in there looking at the painting with the funkiest looking um chalk with
Oh, the
tape
thief
art.
outline in the chair. I All right. I'm not a forensics expert, but I've watched a whole lot of CSI. I've never seen them paint a chalk outline in a chair.
Well,
But
she
we do
did
get
die there.
she did. She did. There's blood in the chair. We get a little
Uh,
blooper here
I was gonna
where
say I had to pause
go
that
ahead.
because this is my probably my other favorite part is so Dean says, "Jared, check this out." Well, except for the fact that Jared's his actual name. And
Yeah, that's
yeah,
Sam.
yeah, he
And
went,
they fixed it. Like they fix it in the subtitles. The subtitles say Sam, but it's like back in Hell House, where
yeah,
the guy handing them their coffees calls Jensen by his real name, and again nobody fixes it.
yeah. So hitting play again,
Mhm.
but just I think that's great when you you think, I don't know, it cracked me up that
Nobody caught it.
that
Nobody fixed it. It
yeah.
went to air like that, and there it stays. I also love this bit here where they realize that there's a painting in the painting,
Yeah.
and Dean just like looks around and picks up an ashtray to try to magnify the name on it on the mausoleum in the
Mm-hmm.
painting that's in the painting, and I think it shows again just how resourceful he is. That I mean, this is a guy who, not that Sam isn't resourceful as well, but like they grew up with nothing. They grew up with this itinerant lifestyle and they're used to kind of making do with what's around them and seeing things around them, finding ways to use things around them in ways that are not necessarily their original purpose. So I mean, it's such a small moment, but I think it's a really interesting thing for their character to see them do that. And I
Yes.
love this shot here, where it's Dean's leg, and you just see the bolt cutters come down into the frame. I love that shot.
Yeah, so now they are in the mausoleum,
Hmm.
and I love that shot of Sam of just like, okay, this is disgusting.
Yeah,
And it's funny, of all the stuff he sees that doesn't phase him, a mausoleum full of spider webs seems to phase him.
yeah. Their job is not glamorous.
Nope, no, it is not. So yeah, so they're looking and they see all the urns and they realize that there's only four of them. And he's like, notice something weird, and she's like, where do I start?
Hmm. Yeah, like no, there's something extra weird here. So there's only four urns for a family of five. And I think
Yes.
this is really interesting here, where Dean, once again, we can see that he's pulling out all the stops to get Madison or yeah, sorry, not Madison, that's somebody else, to get Sarah and Sam to spend time together. So Dean has volunteered to do research. The other thing here, Dave, if you can put this shot up on the screen for our viewers, the blocking of this scene bothers me.
You
It's
love this shot.
suggestive at all. It's not suggestive at all. Where he pulls this eyelash off of her, it's a straight eyelash with his index finger, but the finger he holds up in front of her mouth is his middle finger, and you just see her like just the blocking of this scene is just so ridiculously close to it. But that aside, they do have a nice little conversation here.
Yes. Yeah, and I mean, she's forward. She's like, is there something between us or isn't there? And when he
Yeah,
admits,
go
yeah,
Sarah.
but yes, but I can't let it go anywhere because people who I try to date end up dead or hurt. And I'm not willing to take that chance. And she basically looks at him and says, well, that's about as medieval as you can get.
It's like, hey,
I
I'm a
can
grown
make
ass
my own
woman now.
choices. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
yeah, I'm responsible for myself. I'm a grown ass woman. That's not your choice to make. Now, it's Sam's choice whether or not he does anything about the attraction. Like he has sovereignty too, but he doesn't get to make choices for her. And I love that she calls him out on that.
Hmm. Absolutely. So, and I love how she says,
Oh,
she's like, I can walk out and get hit by a bus tomorrow.
yeah.
Like, we don't have control over every little thing. Like, you just stop. And like right, I love that right when they're truly, I feel like the scene could could potential like she could potentially break down the wall.
Hmm.
Dean shows up.
I know
am
he's
i
worked
am
so
i
hard.
interrupting am I interrupting something? No.
Well, and I love this. He's worked so hard to get the two of them together, and then the minute they're actually starting to like have a real conversation, he just like pops his head into the frame, like, "Hey, I'm back."
So
Oh,
this is
yeah.
when
So they
we
realized the dad wasn't interred with the rest of the family. So they're operating under the assumption that the father has killed the family and
yes.
is now haunting the painting.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so they are digging up a grave, which of course they are quite used to doing, but Sarah
Yep.
is not so used to it. And she even goes, you guys seem uncomfortably comfortable with this. And they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is not the first time we've done this by a long shot.
This is a normal Thursday night. Once again, the grave has perfectly rectangular 90-degree corners.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting is the first time they knock it, it sounds more metal. And then
Yeah.
when they actually go to break it, it's wood.
Yeah, I think, and they say earlier that he's in a pine box. So I think the idea was it's the metal shovel hitting a wooden box lid, and that they kind of overbalanced it towards the metal. But yeah, it does sound wrong when they hit it. It's a pretty shot too. Like I know it's a little morbid. They're standing over a burning body, which pause.
Oh, whoops.
We should check our
You and
cards
you,
to
I think
see
you and I kept trying to pause it at the same time, in which case we were both.
why why won't it pause?
So we have burning bones,
We
or
do,
burning a body, and I have burning a body.
and you know what? We're about to have a ceremony. So if you have one of those while we're paused, we might as well. And you know
What?
what? I don't have either.
Wait a
And I'm
minute.
calling bullshit, man.
So wait a minute. So what's the next one we're about to
A
have? Because
Sammy.
a Sammy. That's right. That's right. We are about to have a Sammy.
Yeah,
And well,
come
I was
back
gonna
here
say
in a
depending
second.
on.
I have neither. I have neither, and it
Yeah,
sucks,
I had
and I'm
burn a
drinking
body,
anyway.
and I did not
Stingy
have a Sammy.
supernatural card. Stingy card. Uh, so
What's so
they
funny?
they pulled back up in front of Evelyn's house here to go after the painting now that they've burned the dad's bones. They think the painting is safe, but they're gonna destroy it anyway, just to be careful.
Yep.
But of course, Dean is gonna wait in the car to give Sam and Sarah a little more alone time together, and he's like, "Hey, come on, come on." And so the song that he puts on the radio is "Bad Time to Be in Love" by Grand Funk Railroad. So he's trying to
And
paint
just,
them.
oh my lord, the look on Sam's face in a moment here is like, holy shit, dude, give it a rest. Just,
Let it go, man. I can get my own dates. Yeah, but you don't.
it's like, if I wanted to get laid, I would have done it already. So
Yeah.
I love it. I love the look here. Like, dude, chill. Cut the
Just a
music.
couple of
Enough.
brothers. Just a couple of brothers squabbling. It's like
Oh my god, poor Sarah with the
the
two of them.
poor Sarah. Although,
And
the
then
way
it's
that scene is lit as they go into the house, she's a really lovely keister. I just gotta say, like, she's good on you, Taylor. It's a nice backside you got there.
hmm but then
And
we
here they hear the
realize,
little girl giggling,
oh, yep.
and
And the
all the
door
doors slam closed.
slams. Yeah. And we
Like,
see this in a moment as Dean is trying to get into the house. And I
yeah,
love
there's our
how,
Sammy.
and they're calling each other versus just screaming through a door, but minor detail because the
It was
door
in the
can't be
script.
that.
Yeah, it was in
So,
the script. They call. Uh, And I love how they've got this little moment of exposition, like, oh, it must not have been the dad. It must be something else. And Sam's like,
yeah, I love is how it's like salt, iron. What house doesn't have salt?
love
That,
sodium first.
well, that's like, there's a fireplace right there, people.
I
Like, come
know.
on,
I
look
know.
for a chair.
He's still like, set to look at her chair. There's a fucking fireplace right there.
Yeah, like,
Gotta love Sam. Sometimes he's not the most observant. And here is the source of that dragging noise we've been hearing. She's got
yeah.
this freaky little girl. Um, which this is clearly an evil, creepy kid. I'm going to suggest we not pause
Yeah.
it here because there's a couple of other things coming up in a minute here. But yeah, so here's the source of that dragging noise is this little girl dragging her doll behind her. And
Hmm.
Sarah's like, oh, that is just so roll.
And what they do, like what the special effects team does with
Oh
this
yeah.
little kid's face in a minute here, it like oh my god, that is just so
Oh yeah,
many,
so creepy.
yeah,
So
so
creepy.
creepy. And he's like, iron, yep,
Yeah, didn't check the fireplace, but
it's
yeah, there
like,
we go. So like, okay, but this girl, like they cremated her. We saw her urn over at the mausoleum, and I love that Sarah is the one to figure out that it's the doll.
yeah. And I love this. She, she looks and she's like, listen, the doll with there, and he's like, I'm so fascinated that you used to sell, but what the hell does that help us with now? And she's like, the hair, you idiot.
Yeah,
It's like,
listen to me, dumbass. So we've got an
oh, we
electronics flicker here,
flicker. Yep,
and we're gonna wait one more moment here because there are a couple of other things that are coming up.
yep, yeah. I was gonna say Sarah's about to get thrown into a wall in a
She gets thrown
moment.
into a wall, and Sam drops his weapon here. So we're going to give this another second. So there goes Sam. He drops
Mhm.
his weapon when the piano hits him.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
goes to his rescue. And
and,
then
and
any second. Oh, she turns around,
oh,
comes face to face with that creepy ghost kid.
yeah,
Um,
and so yeah, I love this. He's banging on it. He's grabbing the guy. This cracks me up. He's trying to hit it. He can't get it. He walks out and goes, for the love, come on, Dean, shoot the damn thing.
and there goes. Okay, I'm
And
going to
there goes
pause here.
Sarah.
Sarah goes into the wall. Uh, yeah, like, what can I possibly get to break this window as he's
Holding a
holding
fucking
a
gun. It's like,
who probably learned to shoot a gun when he was 6 years old. What can I do to break this window? I wonder. Okay. So, all right, we're checking the bingo cards, and we are looking for, we've got a list here. We have
yeah.
an evil, creepy kid, an electronics flicker, somebody drops their weapon, and someone gets thrown against the wall. So let's see what we've got here.
All right.
Um, I I
I
have
have
a
an
sneaky
evil, creepy
feeling.
kid.
Oh, good for you. I have a sneaky feeling I don't have any of them. I have an electronic flicker.
Boys get tied up. Two
So out of that
folks.
list of four, I have one,
Uh, someone
which
just.
just it's
I was,
just not
no,
right, man.
yeah, I have one. I have one. That fucking sucks.
Close, man. All right, well, diving back in here.
Cheers.
Cheers. So, so Dean has managed to shoot the glass and has gotten creepy little kid's creepy little doll.
Which of course, like, come on. Like, what can't, I mean, I know there's a reason why it's not just going on the first time because it's TV, but it's like,
Builds
seriously?
tension.
And she, of course, takes 10 years to come, which I mean, it's a good thing because it builds tension, but it's like, oh, come on, for the
Oh,
love of God.
so can you imagine how bad that doll's got to smell with the burning hair? But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I do love this moment where like the creepy little girl is just getting ready to slash it at Sarah, and I keep wanting to call her Madison. And, and Sam just like tackles her out of the way and ends up with some really excellent field position. He's just right on top of her. The best field position he's had the whole game. And Well, Dean calls him, and yes, they're all safe. So burning the doll worked, which is this is the first point in the series where they realize that remains can be something other than digging up a body. And that's something that's going to come back again and again in the series that
Yeah.
we're gonna see that where sometimes the remains they have to burn. Well, that's not really true. Hookmen,
Yeah.
um, you know, the silver in the hook,
Yeah.
was something else they needed to destroy. So,
Well,
you
that
know, they're
and
start.
uh which was or we maybe think oh no, I think we're thinking of the same one because the girl had the cross.
Yeah, that's Hookman.
Okay.
That yeah, that the cross was melted down from the silver hook. So it, you know, which is something I love about the first season. We see them kind of piecing together. How do we do this? You know, like
Mm-hmm.
how do we, you know, they're on their own without their father for the first time, you know, since they were children, and they're they got to figure this shit out, you know. So that's
Yeah.
one of the things they're starting to piece together. So I love Dean walking away.
It's
He's like,
kind
I'm
of
gonna
I'm
burn
the
the
one who
doll. I don't even
destroyed
get
the
a
doll
thank
and
you.
all that, and I get nothing.
I get nothing. Like I don't even get a thank you. Yeah, because Sarah's just got eyes for Sam.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I
oh,
love
how
how in
could
the
I say
beginning
thanks?
when Sam was like, "Well, why me?" It's like, and he's like, and Dean goes, "Well, it wasn't my butt she was check. It wasn't my butt she was checking out." And he's like,
Yeah, so it is kind of funny that like Dean's been trying to throw the two of them together, like, you know, all episode long, and then he's like, I don't even get a thank you. I do love this scene here where Sam is saying goodbye to Sarah because it's a very similar conversation to the one that Dean and Cassie had in Route
"Yeah,
666, except
yes,
the dialogue is reversed now, you know, where Sarah's the one saying she hopes she'll see him again, and Sam is the one like, yeah, that's not going to happen. But we've got this long
long
look
time."
at Sarah
I would
looking
say
all
that longing look
forlorn.
of oh, what might have been, and then the knock, and yeah, Sam's like, "Fuck
And
this."
we've got a big smooch. Got some very
Oh,
nice smooching. And again, I love
and
this
Dean is like,
responsible.
"Ah, that's my boy."
That's my boy. But again, it's not a lascivious, like, yeah, my boy's going to Pound Town. It's like he's happy for his brother. Like, there he is. There, he's getting his feet back under himself. He's starting to heal. All right, well, that is our episode. So,
Yay!
Lynn, one thing you loved and one thing you hated.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious what I loved, and that
Okay,
was
tell me.
Sarah. Sarah. I
You know, and
loved
you are
it.
not alone. The she's in these early seasons. The fans had a pretty positive response to Sarah.
Yeah, now I loved Sarah. I loved having that strong female
Hmm.
with the guys. Like,
Yeah,
just I absolutely loved that.
yeah, I agree.
One
Um,
thing I did not like was if the father was trying to warn everybody about his adoptive daughter,
mhm.
he did a shit ass job.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a limit to what he can do, right? You know, but he is, you know, he can't really do much other than, you know, because unlike the little girl, he doesn't seem to be able to leave the painting. So yeah, he can't exactly like turn and write, it's her on the wall. So yeah, he potentially could have done better, but then we wouldn't have had an episode.
But yeah, I I felt there could have been more with that.
Hmm. What how do you what would you have liked to see? instead? Now that I've put you on the spot.
I would have liked to have seen them maybe I would have done the episode slightly. I would have
Okay.
allowed the father to be able to come out of the painting so that that way,
Okay.
like, there could have been maybe some confrontation and all of that
Interesting.
between them, and actually see us warning us about them, because I mean it was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, maybe the father's trying to warn us. Well, if that was the
Okay.
father trying to warn us, that was a in my opinion, that was kind of a cheesy attempt at warning us.
Okay. Well, it's interesting you say that because I don't want to say too much here, but there's another episode later in the series where we are going to see a little bit more of an interaction between two spirits. So you won't get it here, but there is something that happens later in the season. For me, I absolutely loved Jodelle Ferland, her performance as Melanie Merchant. Like she has no lines, and she's utterly terrifying. Like it's just, I mean, you pointed it out. They do some really creepy shit with her, special effects and her makeup and stuff, but just her performance for, a very young actor, like she's
Mm-hmm.
creepy as shit. And the way that Phil Segrisha filmed it with that doll dragging behind her, like it's just the way she moves, like it's all amazing. So Jadelle Ferland would go on to appear as Bree Tanner in Twilight Eclipse and again in Breaking Dawn Part 2. So she plays some pale dead people. Another franchise. The thing that I hated was, I know we talked about it a little bit already, but that ridiculous police tape body outline over the chair. Like that, it's just ridiculous. So,
I know that drove you nuts.
I did not love it. All right, Lynn, what's up next?
So yeah, so let's see how we did with our cards. Sorry, I was in my head we were gonna do a thing. Don't mind me. It's been a long day.
It's
Anyway,
no worries, no worries. So
so yeah,
mine's
so
how is yours? Well, you appear to have
I
done better than I did.
I was gonna say I got now depending on whether you count the meta moment as cheating or not, I got three in a row. But
Well, whether
otherwise,
we count it as cheating or not, we have identified it as a square for this episode, cheating or no. So,
so
okay, so it looks like you've got three in a row.
and then I have a two in a row. Actually, I have a two in a row twice.
Yeah, well,
So
I
I
have
have
two
one,
in a
two,
row
three, four,
twice
five, six, seven.
and a total of four. So you have once again mopped up the floor with me, and I am gonna toast your victory.
You know what? I'm gonna have a tiny bit more, and I
Well,
do mean it
I
to
I
toast
made
my
myself.
victory.
Well, and I'm gonna toast your victory again because I can't let you drink alone. Yeah, because I barely touched mine. Plenty. So, all right. Well, you have lost by the least. So that is last call. Thanks for coming along with us for the ride. If you like what we're doing here, be sure to tell your friends. Please also like our videos and subscribe so it's easier for other people to find us too. We love hearing from our SPN family. Comment, send us an email at hunterfuelpodcast@gmail.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hunter Fuel Podcast. In our next episode, we will be watching season 1, episode 20, Dead Man's Blood, when the boys are shocked to discover that, yes, Sam and Dean, there really are vampires. Until then, be safe, everybody. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.